The title of today's video are 5 Crusader tips that you guys need to know. Okay, that's right. The Crusader's finally back. I know it's been a while since I made a video. I've been gone on a hiatus researching AI and cryptocurrencies. But I can't help but notice I've been getting a hell of a lot of emails recently with people coming at me with the same questions, running into the same problems. So instead of responding to all those emails with the same thing, I figured I'm going to make this video right now, and address some of them. The title of today's video are 5 Crusader tips that you guys need to know. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm going to get into it right now. As far as the first tip is concerned, this is something that everybody needs to know. Your credit profile name needs to be consistent on all 3 bureaus. Now, what does that mean? That means if your name is John Smith, it needs to be John Smith on all 3 bureaus. It can't be Johnny Smith on one, John Smith on another. It can't be John P. Smith on one, and John Smith on another, and Johnny Smith on another. No, it's got to be spelled exactly the same on all 3. And another thing you don't want is you don't want multiple versions of a name. You want to keep your credit reports as consistent as possible across all 3 bureaus: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. So if you go and pull your credit and you see that there's a discrepancy or there's an issue with how your name appears on your credit report, you definitely want to get that fixed, because you're gonna run into problems down the road when it comes to applying for things, especially with instant approvals. Another thing you want to make sure is that your address is the same across all 3 bureaus. It can't be different. You can't have an address where you lived one place and then an address where you lived another. And especially when it comes to adding authorized users, sometimes addresses get added on your credit report. You can't have different addresses. They've got to be consistent on all 3, because that is another data point that creditors will pull from when they're looking to extend credit. So it's very important that your addresses are consistent on all 3 credit bureaus. Tip number 2 is it is very important that you can get credit monitoring on all 3 bureaus before you start building a credit profile. Now, why is that? Because if you start trying to build a credit profile without being able to get credit monitoring on all 3 bureaus, when you start doing things like adding trade lines, you're not going to be able to see them. So how the hell are you going to be able to even see that the trade line you got posted if you can't even open up your credit monitoring? Now, I know a lot of people are coming at me being like, oh, Experian, it isn't working. Experian isn't working. Listen, guys, I'm going to say this. Don't underestimate the power of public records. A lot of people are trying to go too fast. They're trying to build credit profiles way too fast, and they're getting tripped up. You need to make sure that your public records are in order, and you can do that before you open up a credit monitoring. That will definitely help as far as Experian is concerned. Another thing that will help as far as Experian is concerned is to make sure that there's at least something on your credit profile for Experian to pull it up, like a hard inquiry. It's very important that when a credit profile is made, you've got the same inquiry across all 3 credit bureaus. If you open up credit monitoring and there's no credit files, or there's no accounts, there's no hard inquiries, and then there's that code, I guess it says a 4, the thin file error, that's not a good sign. That all that means is that you were able to open up an account with the credit monitoring, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have an account with TransUnion or with Equifax, or, well, Experian it does, because Experian, the credit monitoring is the bureau, but with the other 2, it doesn't mean that. So it's very important to make sure that if you have a blank credit profile, you need to make sure that you have the same hard inquiry across all 3 with the same information. That way, you know you're good to go. You know they're all jiving. Because I've seen shit like this happen. I've seen a situation where, let's just say, a father and a son live together and one is junior. I've seen the father go to apply for something, and then it goes on his kid's credit report because they've got the same name and they live at the same address, even though their social's different and their birthday's different, because the two data points were close enough. The credit bureaus put the hard inquiry on his, and vice versa. So it's very important to make sure that if you live with somebody who has the same name as you, or if you have ever lived with somebody who has the same name as you need to make sure that your credit profiles aren't merging, because that will happen. I've seen it with my own eyes. Tip number 3, if you purchase a trade line from a trade line company and the trade line reports to one bureau and doesn't report to the other bureaus, that doesn't mean the trade line company ripped you off or didn't do their job. Actually, quite the contrary. If a trade line company gets a trade line to report, the issue is with your credit profiles. There's an inconsistency. And there's nothing that the trade line company can do, absolutely nothing, to fix that. The only way to fix it would be to get whatever the trade line is reporting to, like let's just say if it's reporting to TransUnion, you need to make sure that the information is exactly the same on the other bureaus, because that's where the trade line is sourcing the data to know where to go. And if it's not appearing there, it could be one of two things, or one of three things. I stand corrected. One of three things. It's going to be that the trade line hasn't posted yet on all three because the bureaus haven't updated. It could be 2, the information is inconsistent. And then number 3, it's because the trade line only reports to 2 bureaus or something like that. And there are very few that do. I know Wells Fargo only reports to 2 bureaus. That's really the only one off the top of my head that I can tell you that doesn't report to all 3. Most of the other ones report to all 3. So if your trade line reports to 1 bureau, you didn't get ripped off. You're good. You just need to correct something on your other reports in order for it to go over there. Very important. Tip number 4, and this is a big one. You got to keep the same phone number across all 3 credit profiles. Your phone number is very important because banks use it to verify you. Your phone number is used when building public records. Your phone number is so key. And every time you change your phone number, you've now got to update it in public records. You've got to update it with the bureaus. It creates a headache when you have to change your number. So it is very important that you keep the same number. Don't let it lapse. You've got to make sure you don't have to change it, because changing a number can almost be as bad as having to change a name and then go through all the rigmarole to get everything all lining up on your credit report so you can get those instant approvals and not get the pushback because, we've got an inconsistency. So it's very important that you keep the same phone number and you make sure you have the same phone number across all 3 bureaus. Now, the 5th tip, this is the best one, and I saved it for last. This is for the people who stuck around to the end of the video. You guys are going to get some real knowledge. The 5th tip is this. When it comes to Cash App, you cannot use a cash tag that's got credit in it, like credit fix, cash 123, credit boost, 609, all that kind of stuff as your cash tag. You can't do that. They will shut that shit down faster than you can say boo. Why? Because it violates the terms of service. You also shouldn't, if you have a credit repair business, you shouldn't name your credit repair business something like, Easy Credit Fix or LLC or something like that. If you guys noticed, Lexington Law, they do credit repair, but credit is not in their business name. You want to know why? Because banks and credit processing, they don't like credit repair. And if they find out you're doing it, chances are they're going to shut down your account. Your Cash App will be shut down if you name your cash tag credit repair anything, or if you do business with somebody who's got in their cash tag credit repair, boost credit score, trade lines. If they have anything like that in their cash tag, Cash App will shut you both down. So I want you guys to be aware of this and make sure that you avoid using credit, trade lines, boost score, anything like that as a cash tag in the messages. You know what I'm talking about. like if you were to buy credit services or buy trade lines, if you're like, oh yeah, thanks for the trade lines, that's not a good idea. You don't want to do that. Cash App keeps a record of all that stuff. They've got AI bots that are combing through all that stuff constantly. If you do it enough times, they will shut your account down, and then you can't use it anymore. So I just want to let you guys know about that. Hopefully it'll save you guys some headaches in the future. So with that being said, I got to get going. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Crusader out.
For hundreds of more information-packed videos, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And if you're looking to take your knowledge to the next level, explore my workshops at thecrusadercave.com. I offer entertainment workshops on CPNs, public records, how to get cars, apartments. Hell, I've even got a workshop that shows you how to reassign zombie debt, and so much more. So don't forget to check out thecrusadercave.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Crusader out.